Viva Saint Augustine! Viva! Bueno!
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to St. Augustine, Florida. If there was ever a town made for tourists, this is it. It's one of the few places in America where you can get a true sense of history, completely overshadowed by things like the Fountain of Youth and Ripley's Believe It or Not. There are street vendors and fudge shops and pirate ships on the water, not to mention the old fort and the stunning beauty of the Marsh Islands and inlet. I love nothing more than wandering around the historic district, just getting lost and taking it all in. But today, we are actually on a mission, because I happen to be in town for the annual March Plein Air Paint Out. Artists were set up all over the town painting to their heart's content, so I thought I would give it a try and join them, even though this is absolutely my first time painting outside in front of people with this size sketchbook. All of it was new. I don't know what I was thinking. I had every intention to sit by the sea and take my time painting the coquina walls of the fort, but I quickly realized that I was far too intimidated with all of these people around me. So I did something a little unconventional. I decided to take the old town trolley and paint while listening to the tour. I have some local knowledge, and part of that local knowledge is that the last stop on the trolley is only a block away from the first stop on the trolley, which means that I did not wait in that long trolley line for a bad seat. I instead walked down the block and got on in the very back so that I could have no one looking over my shoulder while I attempted to paint. And yes, I knew that it would be a bumpy ride, but I had a feeling that that would force me to act quickly and paint without overthinking, as I am wont to do. So I kind of just went for it. I really just wanted to do something simple and not overwhelm myself, so I decided to paint the trolley itself, and I really liked the hair on this woman in front of me. I just thought it was so pretty when it was hitting the light. You can see my setup here. I kind of just have everything balanced on my lap. I have my travel case that is holding my watercolors steady, and the water brushes are slipped into a little pocket. It really worked quite well, and I only dropped it once, as you can see, but we were stopped at the time, so that's fine. And I really love the results, I'm not gonna lie. I was pleasantly surprised by what I came up with, and I had a blast doing it. Here I'm painting a Spanish bayonet, a Florida nickname for a type of yucca plant that grows here. The leaves of this plant are so sharp that the Spanish used to plant them in defensive lines to help protect the city. St. Augustine has a turbulent and bloody history, burned to the ground 10 times, twice by pirates, and steeped in legends of eternal waters that continue to drive visitors to this very day. Many of the oldest structures are still standing, made with coquina rock straight from the sea. And the architecture is a hodgepodge of Spanish and British colonial style, juxtaposed by Flagler's turn-of-the-century designs.
The original name of the bridge was the Matanzas River Bridge. If you folks don't know, Matanzas is a Spanish word for massacre, owing its name to the slaughter of 200 to 300 Huguenots perpetrated by the Spanish in 1565.
The next one I really like. We got to the water and I knew I had to capture it. And so I started sketching the bridge, and then because we were moving too fast, I sort of just put a couple sailboats in front of it, not really paying attention to anything more than a snapshot composition. And then I just started painting as quickly as possible. And I actually didn't finish this while I was on the trolley because we got to the fort and I realized I had meant to get off much sooner and find a place to eat because I was pretty hungry by this point. Oh, this next one was actually painted by accident, or by serendipity. I ordered lunch at a smoothie place because I wanted to keep painting and I didn't want to take a long time to eat. But unfortunately, they forgot about me at one point and then they messed up my order and gave it to someone else. And so I actually waited for my smoothie quite a long time. And so eventually I just decided to start painting I had the perfect subject in front of me after all. This local snake charmer is here set up pretty much every day. For 20 bucks you can hold any of the snakes and get your pictures taken with them. These people that are walking up right now were gabbing behind me the entire time about how crazy it was that this person had snakes out and how dangerous and blah blah blah. And eventually I just looked at them and said, "These are trained snakes. They've been handled since birth." And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. So I guess Floridians just have a different sense of normal. So after lunch I made my way back to the fort because I was determined to paint it. It's just such a beautiful structure with the coquina walls. If you don't know, coquina is actually a type of seashell that over time cements with limestone into a sedimentary rock. They are so abundant in Florida that the Spanish used to harvest the rock to build their settlements. And it's so durable that despite numerous attacks, this over 300-year-old fort is still standing today. I didn't have a very good angle for my camera, so I didn't capture the process, but you can see the beginning sketch and end result. I just wanted to show you the last place I visited before I left, even though I didn't get any painting done. This poor guy was trying so hard to get this female's attention, and she just would not give him the time of day. Actually, most of the males were out presenting their feathers in the bright sunshine. Something about spring. Okay, we are back in the studio. It is a little bit messy because we are still unpacking, but I want to show you what I got done. Okay, so here's the first thing we did on the trolley, and I have to say I think it's my favorite one of all of them. I didn't change a thing once I got home. I kept it loose and airy, and honestly the way it felt while I was on the trolley, just in the open breeze. I don't mind the little cauliflowers that were there because I was not paying attention to water and ink. I was paying attention to getting things down while we were in transit, but I honestly really like it, and I think I'm going to explore this style more, this loose, fluid style of painting, because once I brought out my inks, you can see once I got out my inks, I just felt like the pieces got so much tighter. I really liked this before I added the ink lines, and I think it's because I didn't have the scene in front of me anymore, and so I couldn't really build off of that. So I was just playing around with what I could remember from my imagination, and it didn't really go together. It feels like 2 separate pieces on top of each other. This was just something fun to play with, painting the snake guy. But I forgot his beard, and I'm really sad about that because that was a big part of him. So this is the last thing we did. Of the inked images, I think it's probably my favorite. I definitely captured the inconsistency of the coquina walls, and I got some clouds in there. I really want to keep playing around with this ink and watercolor style because I haven't quite gotten a hold of how I want to mix the two. I'll show you something that I did from memory before I actually went out, which is this piece. It was the first thing I did, but I didn't finish the sketch or anything because I was too nervous being around all those people, and so I painted it from memory at home, and it actually came out quite well. Something about being able to take your time, maybe? I don't know. But this is kind of what I was going for in the other pieces. A mixture of this and this style so that I can execute something like this much better in the future. But I can honestly say I wouldn't have done any of this if I hadn't jumped on that Old Town trolley. So I'm so glad I went out and visited one of my favorite places in the whole world, and I'm glad I brought you along with me because I never would have created any of this if I hadn't. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you'll come along on the next one. Bye!